Hi everyone. So this is actually going to be a shorter video on the topic of lipids because it is a short topic, right? So our definition of lipids essentially is a molecule that involves glycerol and fatty acids. That is a lipid. Right, so fatty acids, they are organic compounds that contain a carboxyl group, which is polar, and we'll get into that very soon when we look at the diagram, and a long hydrocarbon tail, which is non-polar or hydrophobic. And glycerol, it is a polar molecule because it contains many OH groups, right? So let's take a look at what we're dealing with here. All right, so this is our glycerol molecule here. You can see it contains 3 OH groups here. And from our previous videos, anything that contains an OH group is polar and can dissolve in water, right? This is the carboxylic acid group of the fatty acid. You can see it has an OH group here, polar. And here is the long hydrocarbon tail. As you can see, there are no OH groups there, so it's non-polar. All right. Now a triglyceride is formed when one glycerol molecule reacts with 3 fatty acid molecules. Triglyceride, right? And they are joined by something called an ester bond. All right. So let's take a look at how it looks when they are joined. So this is your same glycerol molecule here, and you can see at the ester bond, you lose an O, H, and an H. That's 2 H's and an O, which is water, H2O. That's our favorite dehydration reaction, alright? So that's 3 dehydration reactions going on there. The ester bond is formed, and then you have your final triglyceride molecule. Very easy to remember there, right? Now let's take a look at some of the functions of triglycerides in animals and also in plants, right? So the first thing, it is a great source of energy. Why? Because its long hydrocarbon tail contains many hydrogen atoms, right? And these actually participate in respiration. Buoyancy is another one for animals that live in the water. It helps them to float. Insulation is also important, right? So in the cold weather and the cold regions of the earth, those animals have thick layers of fat, right, to prevent heat from being lost from their body. Metabolic water is an interesting one. So I already said that the fats participate in respiration, right? But animals like camels, which has the big hump in their back, that is almost totally fat. So when that fat is used in respiration, water is a byproduct of that reaction. Therefore, they could travel long distances without having to drink any water at all. Okay, so that's how they could do that. And finally, in plants, cuticles on the leaves and stems, it's like a waxy layer, and it's made out of fat, and it prevents excess water loss. Now let's take a look at phospholipids now. So phospholipids are like a branch of lipids that are found in cell membranes. They are synthesized from the same glycerol, fatty acids, but one different thing, phosphoric acid. Okay, so a phospholipid molecule has the one glycerol, but this time it has 2 fatty acids, and the thing that's taking the place of the 3rd fatty acid is the phosphoric acid molecule. So this is a diagram of how it looks. So you have your same fatty acids, here you have 2 of them. You have your same glycerol molecule, your same 3 ester bonds, but instead of the 3rd fatty acid, you have your phosphoric acid molecule. And what you notice about the phosphoric acid, it has OH groups there, right? So therefore, the phosphoric acid part of the phospholipid is polar, while the 2 fatty acid tails are non-polar. So we could kind of draw the molecule like this. We could see that the head over here, the head is polar, that's the phosphoric acid, and the 2 fatty acid tails are non-polar or hydrophobic. Okay? And something that is polar is also called hydrophilic. Alright? And what is the use of phospholipids? Well, it's found in all cell membranes as the phospholipid bilayer. Right? Or we call it the fluid mosaic model because you could see it contains a lot of different molecules there, right? And all these kind of help in cell-to-cell recognition, transport over the cell membrane, but we'll have a whole separate video on the phospholipid bilayer. This is just an introduction, right? You can see the phospholipids here. So if this was the outside of the cell, and this is the inside of the cell, and this is the cell membrane, you could see that the polar heads point outwards and inwards there, right? And then the two hydrophobic tails, remember, it's a bilayer, so there's two in the layer there, right? So the two hydrophobic tails now, they are pointing towards each other because they don't like the outside and the inside of the cell because it has water and stuff, right? Because they are hydrophobic, okay? But we'll get into all the proteins and stuff in another video. This is just an introduction. Finally, let's just compare triglycerides and phospholipids. Alright, so we already talked about the composition. Triglycerides has 1 glycerol and 3 fatty acids. That's why they are called triglycerides. The phospholipids substitute one of the fatty acids for the phosphoric acid. The structure is similar except that triglycerides has no OH groups, therefore it's completely non-polar. However, in phospholipid, its head, which is the phosphoric acid molecule, has two OH groups, meaning it is polar, while the two tails are non-polar. Right, so now we talked about the properties there, and finally we have the uses as we just said. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye.